Alright guys, let's go ahead and get started. We are going to try out this camera. The other one I like, it's just not a very good camera as far as quality. This one's a little bit better, but it kind of has like a fisheye type of a lens, and it kind of rounds out. But we're going to work with it just to see if this will give me a little better quality. I do have my other, more of my professional cameras, but I just didn't have the time to set them all up and stuff, so we're just going to work with this for now. So I apologize for the weird view. Okay, so we're going to continue. Yesterday we talked about our natural, well, let me go back one actually. We talked about what are lash extensions, what are the prices, how that goes service whenever you go, and how those services work. We talked about the natural lash growth cycle and that anatomy and such. So now we're going to move on, and we're going to, now that you have that information, which is very important to know, so you know what you're doing, right? It's very important to always have that foundation education and knowledge, so that you're good at what you do, and that if you encounter an issue, you know not just what's wrong, or you know that it doesn't look right, but you know how to fix it, because you know what is working or what is not working, or what needs to happen to make it work and what's not working. So all right, so we're going to go over consultation, customization, and the information on the actual lash products that you're going to be using. Okay, so for consultation, okay, for consultation, you definitely want to sit down with your client, especially if it's the first time that they're getting these lashes done, because there's some things that you need to make sure you are aware of about the client or their history, and then obviously with in regards to the lash service, and things that they need to be aware of as well. Sometimes clients will come in, they just want something and think that it's just magically going to last forever or stay that way, or there's nothing that they have to do on their part to maintain the service or the look. And so they just need to be educated, which is why you need to be educated, because if they ask a question, you need to be able to answer that. Okay. All right. So first things first, whenever you have a consultation, you immediately want to, when you first see the person, you want to look at their eyes for their eye shape. Okay. Because, okay, you are going to be asking them, you know, some questions, and asking them what style that they're wanting to go for, what they're looking for, something subtle if it's the first time, or very dramatic if they're looking for a big change, or depending on what kind of job they have. If they're a lawyer, they can't have like these massive voluminous lashes, because they would maybe look a little bit silly. It doesn't go with it. If they're a mom or a nurse, or if they're a person in the social media world that, you know, people follow and whatnot, maybe they want something a little bit more dramatic. Or so you want to look at their eye shape, so that you know in your mind, before you even open your mouth to start talking type of lash styles, you want to, in your mind as a professional, know, oh, okay, well, she has the almond shape, and this style will look the best on her. So just have that in the back of your mind, so that way when you start to ask questions and have that conversation with the client, then you can see and draw the information and kind of what they want, and then put in your professional opinion, and then come to an agreement, okay, for whatever style that fits the client the best. So there's a video that you guys had already watched on this last week. It is in Schoology again in today's assignment. So you want to go back and review it, or take notes on it, or just watch it again. Or if you didn't watch it last week, if you didn't get a chance to, make sure you watch that video, okay? You won't have time during class time today, so it'll have to be for homework. But make sure you're aware of the different eye shapes and what lashes or lash styles go with those shapes, okay? So because the eye shape, you're going to pick. Sometimes the clients say, you tell me what works the best for me, or you're going to help the client pick, they get to pick the style that they want. Okay, so this will be the type of style. So they're, depending on who you work for, some people come up with their freelancers, they come up with their own names to advertise on their own brand. If you work for a place like Amazing Lash, they have believe it's 4 different styles you can choose from, or you can customize your own. Every brand of lashes, or every salon has their own styles. Okay, so I'm not gonna go over all of that yet. That'll be tomorrow. Okay, when we do our mapping. But you definitely want to make sure that you're aware of that for a consultation. Another thing that you want for consultation is you want to ask the client, okay, do you have time? Okay, the time means for the service, which is, again, like we talked about yesterday, it depends on if you're new, if they're getting a full set, if they're getting a refill or whatnot. But just first time might be a little bit longer, but just a refill. Do you, the client, have time in your schedule to come to me every 2 to 3 weeks for about 1 to 2 hours? And you wanna add yourself a little extra time. I know it's usually 1.5 hours, but just add the extra time. If the client says, yes, I do have time, I can come in every 2 to 3 weeks, I can be sitting or laying here for 1 to 2 hours when I come visit, then okay, this service is for you. If the client says, I can come in for one time for 1 and 2 hours, but I can't come every 2 to 3 weeks, or I only have, I don't have this much time because I have kids, or I work, or busy life, or whatever, then this service may not be the best for them. But they may need to do lash tapping, or they may need to do strip lashes or whatnot, because if they don't have the time to come in and get the refills as the frequency that it needs to happen, then the lashes are not going to look good. They're going to be unhappy with the service, and they're going to complain that, oh, I pay all this money, but they don't look good. Yeah, well, because you don't follow the protocol and come in when necessary. So maybe this service is not good for you. So you definitely want to be open with your client and letting them know that up front, what their expectations should be with what time frame that they have available. Okay. With that being said, this is a high maintenance service. Okay. So you care, or a lot of people call it high maintenance. Does the client have the time? Okay. The will, okay, and the money to care for their lashes. The time, because you have to brush your lashes, you have to make sure that you wash them appropriately, and that you come in frequently and you spend the time to take care of the lashes to make sure they look good. The will, do they have the will to, when they shower, not get their lashes wet every single time? Do they have the will to not sleep on their face or on their side of their cheek so that their lashes don't get smushed? Do they have the will to take the time to take care of the lashes? If they have it, fantastic. If not, this is probably not the service for them. Okay. Money. Do they have the money? We've talked about how much this costs. Do they have the will to invest in this type of service? If for this frequency, every 2 or 3 weeks. If so, perfect. If not, then we should probably look for an alternative for a service for them. Okay. All right. Allergies. A lot of people have allergies to the glue. So you want to ask your client if they have had any previous allergies. If they have, if anything or nothing else, you want to make sure that they sign a release form, and that way, in case that they get an allergic reaction and their face turns into a crazy blown up eyeball, eyelid, poofy, puffy, crazy looking ordeal, and has to go to the hospital and all of that stuff, which can happen. they don't come back and sue you or, you know, put the blame on you because you had that conversation of, hey, do you have any allergies? No, okay, sign here. Even if they do or don't, if they do, obviously you don't want to use this service on them, and the eye area is very sensitive, but for sure, if they don't have allergies, make them sign in case something does happen. You are covered. You and your salon are covered. Okay, so very, very important to make sure. The actual lash fibers, there's, you know, they should be clean and they shouldn't have any allergies to that. It's more of the glue that they'll have allergies to. Another thing too is the tape. The glue on the tape. So not just the glue that you dip the lash into to adhere to the other the natural lash, but the glue on the tape. A lot of the times, if the client has an allergy to an adhesive, just remember that the tape also has glue. It's not the same kind of glue, obviously, but so you want to make sure don't cheap out. Don't use the cheap stuff. Use the proper supplies for your services. Don't go buying dollar store tape, okay, and be taping your client's lashes down. Another thing is the iPads. The iPads, let me grab an iPad really quick. The iPads, this one is a little tissue type iPad, but there's some that come in packages and they're like jelly, or they have sticky on the bottom, or they're like cold when you apply. There's certain materials, silicone, things of the sort. There's tons of different kinds. Sometimes the client will be allergic to that, okay? So just the product it's made out of. So just, you know, the material it's made out of, so just be aware of that, okay? Always making sure your client signed a release. The other thing is the client claustrophobic? Because your eyes are going to be taped shut. So the eyes, okay, that's how it feels sometimes to people that are claustrophobic. It feels like when you're taping down the lashes on the bottom to make sure that, you know, you don't stick the bottom lash and the top lash together with the glue, you have to tape the lashes down, okay? And so sometimes people that are claustrophobic, it literally feels like you tape their eyes shut. You're really not doing that, right? There are certain ways where you take a little piece of tape and you put it on the top eyelid, you lift it to kind of give you more of a flare to the natural lash. So it kind of feels like very restrictive or constricted, I guess you can say. And so a lot of clients will freak out about that. So in consultation, you want to ask, are you okay with this particular feeling? And you want to explain what you do or show them, and then, you know, kind of let them try it out. And if they're not freaking out at the beginning, then you should be okay. But some people do panic. So just be aware, okay? All right, so that's your consultation. Besides, of course, oh, well, no, we covered the cost, okay? All right, so making sure you cover your consultation all of the time, okay? All of the time. Now, the next thing that we're going to go over, and I'm going to put this on the same page, and this is going to be your customizing. All right, so your customizing, or your customization, I guess you can say, it's going to consist of several things, okay? Some of these things we've touched on already, okay? So we're not going to take time to review that, but you are going to pick the fiber. What kind of okay, so let me tell you something, why I call it a fiber. I call the false lash, I don't have the actual one in front of me right now, but the actual man-made manufactured lash, okay, I call this a fiber. And I call the real lash on the human a lash. So when I'm teaching it, if I say take your lash and put it on the lash, that's maybe not as clear to a student, okay? But if I say take the fiber and put it on the lash, then it just makes more sense. So for education purposes, that's why I call these lashes fibers, okay? And then the natural lash a lash, okay? So the different types of fibers, we've talked about that already. If what kind your client wants to use, and the mink ones and the Hang on. Something came to mind, and I remembered that I was going to add it when I was talking about this, and I kind of had a little brain fart. I apologize, but I can't remember what it was that I was supposed to. And I remember it was something important. Oh, the colors. Okay, so making sure that they know which kind of fiber, and then your color is important as well, which we've talked about that as well. So as far as color, you can have a natural color or you can have an artistic color. So the natural colors are going to be like your browns, your blacks, blondes, things of the sort. And then your artistic colors can be like your blues, your greens, your pink, red. Nowadays they have all kinds of different colors. Well, what's popular right now is the mermaid lash. And so those are like blues, greens, and purples. And then there's also lashes that have glitter on them. They're not like glitter that flakes off. It's like a fiber made of glitter, and I've seen those. They're pretty pricey, but there are out there. And so you just want to customize your lash set to your client according to their desire of what they want or what they're looking for. Okay? I almost forgot about the color. Okay, and then we're going to from here start to go over the actual product. Okay, the product that is available for you to use on the client, depending on what type of style that the client wants. Okay, so we're going to, I guess we can do. Telling you I'm horrible about taking forever to pick my colors. So I'm just going to do red just to kind of like break this up. So we're going to do the length. So I'm going to just do a big huge line here. Okay. Alright, so my length. Now that I'm looking at my notes, my colors are all over the place. I'm not going to love it, but it's okay. Alright, so let's take a look at our length. Okay, so the length for the lengths that are available to us out there are going to be in millimeters. Okay, so your length is in millimeters, mm. Okay, very, very small. So on a ruler, when you take a look at a ruler, obviously you have your inches. Oh, and this one doesn't have centimeters. But obviously your centimeters are itty bitty. Okay, typically a centimeter is, you take your pinky and from one side of the pinky to the other is 1 centimeter. Well, a millimeter is smaller than that, obviously, because it's, the lash. It's not very big. So with the length, right, we have, and I guess I'm just going to do it all in red. We're going to have, and of course every company has the different, their own kinds and lengths and sizes and colors and names and all of that. But in general, okay, we're going to go for the general, okay, we're going to have start at a 6. So you have your short lash, which is a 6. Then you have a 7, which is a little bit longer. Then you have an 8. Oops. A 9. Then you have your 10. You have your 11. You have your 13. Okay. Then you have your 14. Then your 15. And then your 22. Okay, now again, this particular one was from a class that I took, but there's all kinds of different, just like there's all kinds of different colors, there's all kinds of different lengths. Okay, so we'll just go with this for now. So then the next one, I will do it in blue. Okay, so the length again is from the base to the tip. Okay, the smaller the number, the smaller the lash. And the longer the bigger the number, the longer the lash. Okay, I'm gonna really squeeze this in. Okay, so then we're gonna have let me push up a little bit, our diameter. Okay, And I'm going to do it in blue as well. I'm sorry, I don't like how this note stuff came out, but we have our diameter, okay? This is the width of the fiber. We're going to the thickness. Oops, I did horrible with these notes. Okay, the length is the millimeter up and down, how long, which is like the length of the marker, and then the diameter, the thickness, is from side to side, how bulky it is, how much volume sideways it's going to give you. Okay, so again, every manufacturer has their own, but just tip like standard. Okay, you're going to have, and of course these are in millimeters is the same, working on, you know, very small fibers. So here we're going to start with, so let's say, let me see how many we have. We're going to do 9 little lines. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so draw 9 small little tick marks. That's your natural hair. Okay, natural hair. So on this side is going to be your lighter. Okay, lighter meaning it's not heavy because it's thinner. And on this end, it's going to be heavier because it's thicker. Okay, we're going to put our numbers in with our fibers. Okay, I'm going to do it in green so that way it's a little bit easier to read. Okay, all right, so here we have our 0.03. Wow, that is not a very good green. I'll just do it in this color green. 0.03. Okay, our 0.03 is very thin. Okay, very thin lash. Then we have our 0.05. It's a little bit thicker. Then we have our 0.06, which is thicker. Our 0.07, thicker than that. Okay. All right. This is not like actual size, obviously, right? But you understand as it progresses. Then we have our point skips to 0.10. Okay. After 0.10, we have 0.12. Okay. After our 0.12, we have our 0.15. After 0.15, we have our 0.18. And then we have our 0.20, which is our biggest. Well, I'm really curving this lash, aren't I? Our 0.20, which is our biggest one. Okay, so it progressively gets thicker from the 0.03, which is the lighter one, the thinnest one, to the 0.20, the heavier, thickest one. You can definitely see the progression. These are the most common, most just general, generic numbers, but know that different companies have different numbers. Okay. So it's important to know all of this information so that you can build upon the service that you're going to offer your clients. Okay. Now, if you take a look at more of the curl part, so this is the length, this is the diameter, how thick. Now we're going to look at how curly it is and the different types of curls that there are available out there. Okay, so let's go here, and then we're going to do our types of curl. Okay, so with our types of, I hate that this bleeds through, with the types of curls that we have, okay, it's very important to know and understand what kind of curl is out there that you can use, what it's used for, the degree that it lays off of the natural lash, and what client it works the best for. Okay, so this is going to get a little bit more complicated, so just bear with me as we go through it. Okay, so let's go ahead and list all of our curls. Okay, we have what we call, well, first let's draw our eye. Okay, and I learned this from a lash technician, and she is pretty darn amazing. So let's go ahead and draw our eye. So our eye, let's do a Pac-Man or a less than sign, and then do a little triangle on this top section here. This is the top lid. And then on the bottom, you want to do a little triangle at the tip here. Okay. So then here you're going to make the eye, and you're going to color it in. Okay. You can do the line at the bottom, and then there's a little line like so, and of course you got the lash, and then the top of the lash line there. Okay. So there's a side view of your eye, sort of. Okay. All right, so we have, let's start with our J curl. Okay. Our J curl is like this. It's pretty flat. It's got a little bit of a kick at the end. Okay, if you were to take this fiber and you put it on your client, right? It's flat and it's got a little kick. Okay, this is called our J curl. Okay. It is flat. Okay. And it's at a 30-degree angle. So if this is our natural lash, this is our J curl. Your angle, okay, here is 30 degrees. Okay. So, let's say, okay, where's my gray in my hand? I'm going to put a brown for my lash. Use this color. No, not a brown, it's like a weird color. Okay, so my client, because the lash grows out here, my client, let's say that my client has just a regular flat lash. Okay, it just comes out. Okay. If I were to put my J curl, I'm going to lay my J curl here, and it's going to have a little bit of a curl. So I'm going to have here my 30-degree angle, and my point of contact, okay, is going to be pretty big because my point of contact is here. Okay, that is my point of contact, which means that the glue that I put on my fiber is going to adhere very well to that point where the fiber comes in contact with the natural lash. So it's got a good foundation. It's going to get stuck on there really good. Okay. The J curl definitely gives you a natural look. Not for someone that wants something crazy dramatic. Okay. All right, so that's our J curl. The next that we have is going to be our B curl. Okay. Our B curl has a small flip. Okay. Our B curl has a 45-degree angle. Okay. The B curl looks like this. It's flat, but it's got a little bit more of a curl than our J curl. It's got a little, kind of like a little belly at the bottom of that tip. Okay. B curls, just the same as J curls, the point of contact on a natural lash is very good. Okay, that point of contact, there's plenty of natural lash for the false lash fiber to get stuck on. Yeah, it's going to have a little bit more lift at the tip, a little bit more curl than it being so straight, but it's going to stick good. Okay, so that's our B curl. The next that we have is going to be our C curl. Now with our C curl, this is one of the most popular ones. It's most universal and used most commonly. This is called our C curl. Okay, this is universal. You can use it almost on everybody and it's very popular. Okay, so with this one here, you're going to have your 60-degree angle. Okay, with your C curl, you're going to have straight, but it's a little bit more of a curl. So your point of contact, because it has more curl, it's starting to shorten. So see how your point of contact was really long here and it's starting to shorten here? Well, it's definitely going to shorten even more. See my parentheses getting a little bit closer? Okay. So when you dip the glue into your false lash and you adhere it to the natural lash, it's going to stick on there, but it's not going to stick on as much natural lash as the J curl because the J curl has a bigger point of contact. Which means that the J curl is going to stick on the natural lash more and longer and better than the C curl. Doesn't mean that the C curl is going to fall out faster, but it just means it's anchored better than this one because it has a bigger point of contact. Okay. There's also a CC curl. I'm not going to add it in here, but there's a CC curl that's also pretty popular and universal. So if you purchase them, it's pretty much the same except it's a little bit more of a curve. Okay, but same thing. Then we have a D curl. So here we have a D curl. Okay, our D curl is more extreme. With our D curl, you definitely, ooh, my marker, goodness gracious. Ooh, that wasn't very good, was it? That's pretty bad drawing of an angle. This one is a 70-degree angle. I'm going to change my color because my marker is going crazy. So our D curl is definitely more extreme. Our D curl has a 70-degree angle. Okay. And it is definitely more curly. Okay. Because it is more curly, do you see how the point of contact is very small? See how my parenthesis is very close compared to my J curl? Okay, so these definitely have less anchor than that one, the J curl, or any of them for that matter. Now one note that I will put here, I'm going to put a little star. Wrong marker. I'm going to toss that one to the side. One note that I want to add into that is that you want to make sure that whenever you're using a D curl, you don't use this on hooded eyes. Okay? No, no, no. Okay? Because if you do so, it's going to poke their eye. Okay, my battery was run out. Okay, so the D curl, very curly. It has don't use it on hooded eyes. No, 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 because it will poke them. Okay, it is so curly. Let me do this one here. This lash is so curly that when you apply it on a client, it's so curled that it will poke the skin, and you don't want that. Okay, so that is your D curl. Beautiful. Definitely make the eyes have that doll kind of a look, opens them up, okay? But it's not for everybody. And then last but not least, we have our L curl. Also, you might see it as L plus, okay? It just kind of depends. So two other ones was the CC curl and then the L plus. So those you will see, but those are very similar. Okay, if not the same thing, very similar. So the L curl, okay, the L curl is straight out, and then it literally has an angle upwards, literally like an L. Okay. It has like a right angle. I've seen some that the angle is different, okay, but typically it's the right angle type of an effect, okay, or look. It has a flat contact point. Okay, this is the flat contact point, okay. It points upwards. This here, your curl has an 85-degree angle. With this, okay, the reason why they made these is that if the client, okay, let's draw our eye again very quickly. Okay. If the client, right, color this in, come on. If the client has a very straight lash that goes downward, right, because you have those clients that have to go in and get a lash perm done, or have to go with the spoon that they use, or their lash curler to get their lashes to actually, instead of going down, they go out and up. This L curl is perfect for them because they will put the L curl here and then it goes up. So then they actually have the lift. Because if not, then if you use any of these, what will happen is that it's going to curl this way. So it's because their lashes are down, it's going to cover their eye. It's not going to lift. It's going to come downward because you see the angle of the lash. Okay. And it won't look good on your clients. So those are the different kinds of curls that are out there. All right. Very important to understand the space in between the contact points. Okay. So again, on this one, here's your contact point, and it's a huge contact point because of the flat contact point. It sticks very, very well. Okay. Your C curl is going to be used on 90%. Okay. Your C curl used on 90% of clients. So when you're purchasing your products and your supplies and tools and all of that, you might want to buy extra or have extra of your C curls in your kit or your supply box or however your station, because you will run out of that one first. And you don't want to run out of any of these when you're doing a client. You don't want one eye done and then you don't have any for the other eye. But of all of these to stock up, you stock up less on the L curl, but more on the C curl. Okay. Nowadays, people are very dramatic with their lashes, so the D curls become very popular, but the C curl definitely is it. Okay. Okay, so it's very important to know all of this information because when you're doing your consultation, okay, you want to ask the client, obviously all the information, make sure that, they're understanding what they're getting into. You want to have them be able to explain what type of fibers and colors are available, okay? You want to make sure that you ask them what length they're going to want and what diameter, thickness that they want. And also, you have to tell them what your professional opinion is on what you think that would be best on their natural lashes. If they naturally have really short and fine lashes, very thin lashes, then the 22 in length is no, right? That would be a horrible idea. Or the 0.20 thick lash would be horrible because their small natural lash is not going to support this. Think of it this way. Think of it what it would look like. Think of it a tree, right? And the limbs are nice and out and, outgoing. This is a tree, right? That's outgoing this way. The limbs are perfect. They're nice and upwards. And then the snow falls on them and it's so heavy that the limbs begin to droop down. Well, that's exactly what will happen on somebody that doesn't have the natural lash to support any on this side of the scale. Okay, so really take that into consideration. If you have someone that naturally has thick or long lashes, the small ones, they're not going to do anything, right? So you need to understand and know the length and the diameter of the lashes. Now, you're not going to take a ruler and go measure the client's lashes. With time, you're going to be able to tell the difference between the lashes, even if you just see a little lash on the tabletop. Oh, that's a size 14 and that's a 0.07. You'll be able to know that because you would have been working with it for a good while already. Okay, so besides the length and the diameter, you want to ask the client, and be able to professionally let them know what the kinds of curls are. Maybe they want the D curl, but they don't want, but they have hooded eyes. And they don't want that to be bothering them because that's irritating. So you have to be able to know what these products, how these products come, and what works best for what kind of eye shape, what kind of lid, what kind of natural lash, etc. Okay, so and whenever you offer lashes, and let's say this is something you want to do, you don't just buy only C curls or only D curls because you like them, or you want to have a good set of product to offer your client because not all clients are made the same. Okay, for example, when you're doing makeup, you don't just buy red lipstick because not all skin color comes looks good in lipstick or in red lipstick, or not all clients like their skin tone with red lipstick, or maybe if you use a certain color foundation, not everybody matches that particular foundation. So you have to have a variety of products in your kit to offer the variety of clients that are going to be coming in. So keep that in mind. You have to take into consideration the client's physical state, what they come in, right? The types of lashes they have, their eye shape, things that you can't change, and then their style, their what they want. They bring you an Instagram picture, I want this. You have to be able to work with the two to come up with a professional opinion of what you think works best for them and make it as close as possible to what they have as far as the picture, what they have in mind. Okay, has to work for the client. Okay, all right, so that is the types of curls. So that's 2 pages for today on that. We're going to go ahead and continue our next set of notes here, and we are going to do our hands-on now. Now, I know class-wise, you guys only have 45 minutes, so I'm going to stop this video here at the end of this one. I'm going to start a new video. You might have to do the second one for homework because we're probably already at the 45 mark if your bell has not already rang, okay? So the second video or second section for homework, make sure you take your notes and do your practicing at home for homework. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop this one here, and then we'll continue on the next video.